Hey everyone, welcome back to Sir Boats Yacht, the channel where we dive deep into the most iconic classic and modern vessels on the water. Today we're talking about one of the most legendary names in American yachting history, the Trumpy Yacht. If you love classic elegance, vintage charm and timeless craftsmanship, then you're going to love this episode, because Trumpy Yachts are more than just boats, they're floating pieces of history. Let's start with a little background before we get into what makes these yachts so special. Trumpy Yachts were originally built by John Trumpy and Sons, a company that started producing these beauties in the early 20th century. The Trumpy name became synonymous with luxury and American yachting excellence during the 1930s through the 1960s. These boats were the go-to choice for wealthy industrialists, celebrities, and even the US Navy during World War II. Back in the day, owning a Trumpy was like owning a Rolls-Royce or a private jet. It meant you had truly arrived. Now, when we talk about Trumpy Yachts, we're usually referring to the wooden motor yachts that came in a few different series, like the houseboat, the cruiser, the commuter, and the flush deck. Each one had its own unique features, but all carried the Trumpy DNA, which is elegance, superior woodwork, and a distinct aesthetic that set them apart from anything else on the water. Let's get into the key features that make a Trumpy yacht stand out from the crowd. First and foremost, these yachts are built almost entirely of wood, primarily mahogany, oak and teak. The craftsmanship involved in shaping, sanding and fitting every plank and panel is nothing short of artisanal. You can see the attention to detail in the curvature of the hull, the seamless joinery, the hand-rubbed varnish and the perfectly fitted brass fixtures. It's old-world boat building at its finest. Another standout feature is the design of the hull. Trumpy yachts have a displacement hull, which means they're designed for comfort and stability rather than high speed. This type of hull glides through the water rather than riding on top of it, which gives you a much smoother ride even in choppy conditions. The bow is often rounded and graceful with a slightly flared shape that helps keep the decks dry. The hull sides usually feature a series of perfectly aligned portholes which add to the yacht's symmetry and give it that unmistakable vintage vibe. One of the things that really sets Trumpy yachts apart is their superstructure, meaning the part of the boat that sits above the hull. The classic Trumpy design includes a raised pilot house, often enclosed with panoramic windows, and a spacious aft deck that's perfect for entertaining. This aft deck usually has canvas enclosures or roll-up windows, making it a great spot to relax in any weather. There's a timeless look to this configuration. It's balanced, it's functional, and it's undeniably elegant. Moving into the interior features, this is where the Trumpy magic truly shines. Stepping inside a Trumpy yacht is like entering a floating vintage mansion. The interiors are rich with polished wood panels, detailed trim and often customized layouts. The main salon usually features built-in furniture like settees, dining nooks and even writing desks. There's a sense of intimacy and comfort that you just don't get in modern production yachts. The cabins are typically appointed with vintage hardware, period lighting and mahogany paneling that gives a warm, welcoming glow. Many Trumpies include 3 or more staterooms and at least 2 heads, which is boating talk for bathrooms. The galley, which is the boat's kitchen, is usually compact but well equipped, often with vintage appliances that have been lovingly restored or upgraded to modern standards while retaining their original style. One thing you'll notice is that the ceilings are usually lower than what you'd find in modern yachts, and that's part of the charm. It's cozy and well proportioned rather than cavernous and cold. Every space feels like it was made to be lived in, not just looked at. There's no plastic or synthetic materials here. It's all authentic and it feels like you're stepping back in time in the best possible way. When it comes to performance, remember, these boats weren't built for speed, they're built for grace. Most Trumpy yachts cruise comfortably at around 10 to 12 knots thanks to reliable diesel engines, usually twin screw configurations, which means 2 propellers. This gives them excellent maneuverability and enough power to make long coastal voyages while keeping fuel consumption reasonable. Because of their wooden hulls, Trumpies are also surprisingly quiet on the water. There's very little vibration and the engine noise is minimal, which makes for a very pleasant experience whether you're cruising through a harbor or anchoring in a quiet cove. And although these yachts are vintage, many have been refitted with modern navigation systems, bow thrusters and even stabilization systems, so you're getting the best of both worlds: classic looks with contemporary functionality. Now let's talk about what makes Trumpy Yachts truly unique and why they continue to capture the imagination of boat lovers even decades after they were first built. First, it's the rarity. Only a few hundred Trumpy Yachts were ever made, and many of those have been lost to time. The ones that remain are often meticulously restored and cared for by passionate owners. Some have been passed down through generations like family heirlooms. Second, it's the legacy. These yachts have hosted presidents, movie stars and high society events. They were the yachts of choice for people who could afford anything and chose a Trumpy. That history adds a layer of prestige and fascination that you simply can't buy with a new production yacht. Third, it's the community. Trumpy owners tend to be a dedicated bunch. There are owners clubs, online forums and even events specifically for showcasing and preserving these classic yachts. There's a real sense of camaraderie among those who own and love these boats, and being part of that culture is a reward in itself. And finally, it's the emotional connection. When you step aboard a Trumpy yacht, you feel something. It's not just a machine, it's a work of art, a piece of history and a labor of love. It evokes nostalgia and admiration even from people who don't know a thing about boats, and for those who do know their yachts, it commands respect instantly. Restoring a Trumpy yacht is not for the faint of heart. It's a serious investment in time, money and passion, but for those who take on the challenge, the payoff is extraordinary. You get to preserve a piece of maritime history, and in doing so you create a floating legacy that can be enjoyed for generations to come. If you're thinking of buying one, keep in mind that prices can vary widely depending on the condition and level of restoration. Some well-maintained examples can go for under $1 million, while museum-quality restorations can reach into the several million range. But in either case, you're getting a vessel that will turn heads and win hearts wherever you go. So whether you're a lifelong boater or just someone who appreciates timeless design, Trumpy Yachts offer something truly special. They're not the fastest or flashiest, but they have an elegance and presence that's unmatched by anything built today. They remind us of an era when craftsmanship mattered and when yachts were built not just to impress but to endure. That's it for today's episode on Trumpy Yachts. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you ever want to own one? Have you seen one in person? Or maybe you have your own Trumpy story to share. Be sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future episodes here on Sir Boats Yacht, where we explore the finest vessels on the water, past and present. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay classic and keep cruising.